Welcome to another episode of Character and Cravings. This is going to be my last video for Hazelwood. Just for now anyways. I want to move on to a different author, different book, different style. As much as I love STEM romances, it's just time to do something else, talk about something else. I have something really neat planned for the following episodes. The format will be a little bit different, but it leans more into the book club vibe I've been trying to go for, so I'm very excited about it. The episodes might come out a little bit slower just because I am 34 weeks. No, I'm gonna be 35 weeks pregnant this week. I'm not entirely sure what I'll be able to keep up, what I'll be able to do, but I'm gonna try my best. Having a newborn is going through the trenches, so I'm not here to burn myself out trying to make these videos. I love making them. It's really fun for me. So I don't know, maybe he can like sit here or something while I do this, but I do really enjoy writing the scripts for everything. Hoping I can keep this up. If not, I have a lot of short videos that I've batched in preparation for the upcoming weeks. The focus of today's Character and Cravings is going to be Rue from Not in Love. I actually found this copy at a secondhand bookstore. It's usually $26 Canadian, but I got it for $15. Thank you, Bailey's Books, for providing me with this. I'm always happy to buy secondhand books. The condition is great. Like, there's no reason why you need to buy it new. Comparing my own experiences with Rue's was a little bit tricky because I feel like compared to her, I had a very charmed upbringing. Definitely nowhere near as traumatic, but everyone has their own story, and comparing isn't the right word. We're all just learning from our own experiences. And what's really great about reading books, fictional, nonfiction, or otherwise, is that we get to learn from other perspectives. At the end of the day, I just want to be a well-informed, sensitive, more empathetic individual. And I feel that reading has done that for me. Rue and I are just women who are trying to eat without feeling anxious, wear the dresses in our closets, and to stop lying to ourselves out of fear of failure. My biggest takeaway from this book was to trust in myself a little bit more, because even though Rue put her trust in the wrong person when it came to Florence, and she had to work extra hard to be able to trust Eli, I think at the end of the book, she learned how to trust herself. Because this is Character and Cravings, the first thing I want to address is her food anxiety. This hit really close to home for me. As you know, I've been struggling with gestational diabetes. I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to eating. Rue's food insecurity comes from childhood neglect. She never knew where her next meal was coming from. She never knew when or even if she was going to have anything to eat later in the day. I'm actually really embarrassed to try and compare my own food anxiety to Rue's childhood, but that's what all of this is about, so I'm gonna do my best without seeming insensitive to her struggle and people who are in her situation. Because of her childhood, Rue can't eat unless she's sitting down, unrushed, and I can relate to that in the sense I also have to really take my time when it comes to eating now. Specifically, I need the time to process and kind of settle my anxiety before each meal. I have to count my carbs, I have to adjust my insulin, and then I spend the entire meal wondering whether or not I gave myself too much or too little. I've had blood sugar spikes that make me feel like the worst mother in the world, because I know that having high blood sugar affects my baby. And then I've had lows that made me feel like I was having a heart attack. I'm shaking, I'm covered in sweat, I can't feel my fingers or my toes, and obviously that's not good for me. After incidents like that, I'm especially nervous about eating for a while. I literally can't look at a bowl of rice and not wonder what it's going to do to my body. Sometimes at the start of the meal, I'll just stare at my food and I'll stare at it until I can will myself to eat it. I don't know if that's how Rue feels. I'm sure she feels some other type of way about eating. I don't know if Rue feels the same way I do. It seems like she really needs to take the time to eat, maybe because she was in such a rush to finish her food as a child because she didn't know where her next meal was coming from, but it's it doesn't feel right that something as universal as food should be something that gives us so much anxiety. And I think that's why I love how Eli takes care of her in that food area. I guess a bonus was that he was engaged to a chef, so he knows how to make a few good meals. But it's nice to have somebody notice your biggest heartache, your biggest concern, and take action upon it. My own husband is truly wonderful in this sense as well. He will always count my carbs for me. He gives me my insulin shots because he knows that is a source of pain for me. And I think that's what makes Rue start to open up, is to have somebody notice this huge insecurity of hers, and not to make a huge deal out of it, but just to help where they can.
In the book, Eli bragged about making French toast, so I grabbed my insulin and I headed to the Broken Yolk for their delicious peach cobbler French toast. It did end up spiking my sugars a little bit, but it was so worth it.
Speaking of big insecurities, something I've also been struggling with is my appearance. I mean, obviously, when you're pregnant, your body changes. My stomach is covered in bruises from the insulin shots, and none of my clothes really fit anymore. I'm constantly having to like search through my wardrobe for more looser fitting clothes. I just thought it was funny how in chapter 10 she talks about how she doesn't usually wear makeup, she doesn't usually dress up, but then she has all of these beloved dresses in her closet that she never gets a chance to wear. Since I've started content creation, I've been putting more attention on my appearance. I've been doing more makeup, but I really hate how long it takes. I am not a high maintenance girly. I usually like to just go about my day without doing anything to my face or hair, especially when you're chasing a toddler around. But I have noticed that on days I put a little extra effort into my appearance, I feel good. I feel a little more confident that day. So then I realized the only thing that stops me from doing makeup every single day is the time crunch. If I could have my makeup routine down to 20 minutes, I would do makeup every day. But as of right now, I am clumsy, I am slow, and it takes me maybe 45 minutes. Even after the 45 minutes, most times I feel like my makeup is just not where I want it to be. So it's a little unsatisfying sometimes. It's the same with clothes. I don't have a great eye for fashion. I think I have some really cool pieces in my closet, but I struggle to figure out how to put them together. Then what happens is I just kind of wear my regular fits, my sweatpants, my loose dresses, and not really try to find ways to be creative with my wardrobe, which then makes me feel bad because I have some beautiful dresses in my closet as well, and I need to figure out how to wear them. Despite how much I dread filming days, probably the same as how Rue dreads fancy occasions where she has to dress up, I am happy that content creation has given me the opportunity to be creative with my appearance. I mentioned earlier how I feel weird about comparing my own experiences with Rue's, and I need to keep reminding myself, do not use the word compare because everyone has their own experience, story, trauma. Stop using the word compare. But what Rue goes through is just it must be a test. It's a test in trust and loyalty because What happens with her and Florence is just so heartbreaking. And I know that breakups between boyfriends and girlfriends are really rough. I've had my fair share of them. But I have to say, some of the roughest breakups for me weren't with a boyfriend, it was with a friend. A friend breakup is, it's just different because with boyfriends, you always kind of have that thought in the back of your head, like, oh, like what happens if we break up one day, blah, blah, blah. But with friendships, you don't really think of that. You kind of just assume that you're going to be friends forever. I've never really put a lot of thought into what would happen if this person wasn't my friend anymore. And in Rue's case, it's a double whammy because Florence is also her boss. So it doesn't just ruin a friendship, it also threatens her livelihood. It's such a gut punch when we read about Florence's betrayal because throughout the entire book, all we see is how loyal Rue is to Florence and how she struggles with being with Eli because of Florence. I know what it's like to be loyal to the wrong person because when that friendship ends, you rethink all of your decisions regarding this person. You think about whether or not you did the wrong thing, you said the wrong thing, or later on you might start to feel angry because of all of the potential opportunities you missed out because of this person. You can't help but wonder how terrible your judgment is. And you also get upset out of all of the things you did out of loyalty. Especially when Rue is already so distrustful of people. I think I'm generally a pretty trusting person. I I have a friend who tells me that I'm so gullible. I'll believe anything anybody says. I don't think that's true, but like when it's your best friend, if they say something, you're gonna believe it, even if it sounds ridiculous. We also like to joke that I'm kind of a golden retriever. I'm kind of just like friendly and trusting of everybody. But again, I don't think that's true. What would be my dog equivalent? I would want to say Pomeranian because I love Pomeranians. And I think Pomeranian is pretty close. You're trusting, but you don't trust everybody. And you keep people at like a tail's length and you only trust maybe about like 4 people, but you love those 4 people and you're going to be super loyal to them. I think it's fascinating that Eli and Rue tell each other their worst secrets, their worst stories about themselves. Because when you start a relationship, usually you want to show them the best of yourself. I've definitely, even with my husband when we started dating, I think I said something how I was kind of a nerd and I love doing crossword puzzles or something like that. And I do like crossword puzzles, but I definitely wouldn't make it a part of my personality, so it was a little lie. But it was so sweet on our first date at the coffee shop. He brought a crossword puzzle for us to work on, and it really bonded us. I am very fond of puzzles, but I definitely said that so it would show the best side of me. I think in Rue's case, she does this because she wants to test Eli and she wants to also protect herself. If Eli does end up leaving her, she can say, see, I knew you wouldn't be able to handle my baggage. The thing is, he never leaves. He hears all of Rue's worst little stories and he gives her his own. Finding the right partner isn't just about who you can be vulnerable with, it's who can also be vulnerable with you. But then we have this internal struggle because what is the difference between trusting the wrong person and knowing who you can spill your deep, dark secrets to? It's funny how you can tell yourself something over and over and over again, but not actually feel that way. Rue could tell herself that she's just telling Eli these secrets because she's expecting him to leave. But I think for someone like Rue who doesn't trust easily, maybe there was just some part of her little voice inside her head that wanted to trust he wouldn't leave. I do this all the time. I'll tell myself, I didn't really want it. It's not going to work out, just to cushion the blow in case it fails. Obviously, content creation is lower stakes than true love, but I have told myself repeatedly, it's okay if my video doesn't get a lot of likes. It's okay if I don't gain a lot of followers. I have fun doing this. That's all that matters. But there's that little voice in the back of my head that hopes I can make this successful, that I can grow my audience, that people are interested in what I have to say. And I've never put this much work into myself, and I want my secret project to also work so badly, and I hope that content creation supports it. So I'll tell myself anything to cushion the blow, like a deceptive security blanket. When I think about this logically, though, it doesn't work. This isn't, you can't lie to yourself. I think Rue would have been crushed if Eli had left her. I'm probably never gonna want to post again if my secret project or content creation doesn't pan out. No matter what lie we tell ourselves, if we put our heart into something and it doesn't work out, it's gonna hurt. I guess I can only really hope that it works out for me the same way it worked out for Rue. I hope you enjoyed today's character and cravings. It was a little more like emotional than I thought it was going to be, touched on a lot of sore points in my life. I love Ali Hazelwood. I'm sure I will bring her back into character and cravings again. But I am really excited for the next series that I'm going to be talking about. It's going to really embrace that book club vibe. So if you are interested in joining book club, please subscribe. And I'm going to be revealing which series we're going to be talking about next in my short videos. So if you do not follow me on Instagram yet, please do so you can see my shorts. Or I guess on Instagram it's called Reels. I have not batched my long form content as far as I want to, and I'm very nervous that I won't be able to if this little guy decides to come out early. I'm definitely starting to feel it. I had Braxton Hicks the other day and it really like kicked my butt into gear. I've cleaned my entire kitchen. I even scrubbed. Your sink has that little strainer that you can pull out. I cleaned the bottom of that. Why? It's not like the baby's going anywhere near the sink, but it's clean now. Nesting instincts are so crazy. I need to remember that content creation is still very important to me right now, so I am really going to grind filming over the next 2 weeks before he makes his appearance to make sure that I can upload things even when I'm sitting in this chair breastfeeding. It's really cool putting my heart into something that I enjoy. It's a very different feeling. Before, when I started these projects, it felt more like work. And this feels, yeah, it's still work. It's still a lot of work, but it's also really fun. And I look forward to doing it. So I will see you next time. And I hope you guys have another great week. Bye.